TSUKIHINA, Afterlife AU. You know how much I love you, right? I heard him say despite difficulty in breathing. I do. And I love you that much too. So don't you dare give up on me, Tobio. I was holding his hand over his chest the tightest I can go, taking into consideration his condition. Room 613. The entire volleyball team was there to visit him. We were all worried. Especially me. Tobio's our genius setter. Sugawara senpai has been taking over his position ever since he got sick. Tobio never told us he was suffering from an illness. Up until now, he wouldn't tell us what's keeping him from getting well and leaving the hospital. His family won't even tell me. To think that we've been together for a while already. I think Tobio told them not to tell me. Get well soon for me, okay? He smiled. I guess he was trying his best to give me that smile I always loved. One that I only get to see. Can I ask you something? His hand with the IV cannula slowly moved over our hands on his chest. I don't know why my eyes started filling up with tears. I held it back. I felt Sugawara's hand tap on my shoulder. My eyes stayed on our hands, not minding Sugawara's. We'll be outside. I nodded, still not diverting my gaze. When everyone was out of the room, I decided to move to the edge of his bed. I gave Tobio a small kiss on the forehead before I replied to his question earlier. You can ask me to do anything, Tobio. You know I'll do anything for you. I noticed his fingers move, so my eyes quickly moved to look at them. His pinky was up. I looked back at his face. I hate that it doesn't have enough color. Painstakingly pale. Promise me that you'll love me whatever happens. I ran my free hand through his raven-colored hair. I remember him smirk whenever I do this to him before. Now, the smirk looked too subtle. Nothing bad will happen, Tobio. We'll go through this together. Okay. Even the way he blinked looked like it was in slow motion. Promise me. He motioned for me to look at his pinky finger. He was waiting for mine. The hand I used to brush through his hair moved to tie up with his pinky. A tear escaped from my eye. I promise. He must have noticed, since his other hand slowly reached my face and wiped it away. He looked tired just by lifting his arm and back. Can you drop by my house? I left something on my bed. Can you get it for me? I don't understand. Can't he just ask his mom to bring it? Or his sister? I don't want to leave you. I'll ask your sister to bring it when she visits. Trying to get my phone from my bag, but it was too far from the bed. No, Shoyo, can you get it for me now? My eyes were questioning his. Please. Defeated, I nodded. I love you, Shoyo. His eyes were now filled with tears. Stop it. I can't leave you like this. I took both my hands and placed them on both his cheeks, wiping his tears away. Sorry, I'll be okay. Are you sure? Positive. He looked like he was squeezing my hand, but there was not much force there. I'll be back real quick. Wait for me, okay? His smile was back. I love you. I love you too. I was out his hospital door. Everyone was sitting outside. I explained about me having to go to Tobio's house. Sugawara became worried and told Tsukishima to come with me. Do I have to? Can't he just go on his own? With all the worried emotions I have inside me, I got irritated. No, you don't. I'll go now. No, take Tsukishima with you. I saw how Shuga-senpai glared at Tsukishima. Fine. Everyone tapped on Tsukishima's shoulder before they went back in Tobio's room. Please watch over Tobio while I'm gone, Shuga-senpai. My eyes were pleading. Don't worry, Hinata. Just go get what you need from his house. I nodded. I looked at Tsukishima. His face looked irritated. I didn't bother asking him to follow. I just walked away from the room. I'm guessing Shuga-senpai had to push Tsukishima to make him follow me. I heard him running after me. What are you supposed to be getting from his house? I just side-glanced at him. I really don't want to be with anyone right now. I don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. He just told me to get what he left on his bed. You're both weird. I stopped on my tracks and faced him. Will you just stop talking? I'll appreciate it more, you know. You're slowing me down. He was ahead of me now but stopped as I said those words. His eyes were first on mine before it fell to the ground. He gestured for me to walk ahead and I did. He walked behind me the entire way to Tobio's house. When we got there, no one was home. I think both his mom and sister were still in the hospital. Probably fixing stuff in the hospital. Good thing I have a spare key. Using the key, I opened the front door. I went in. Tsukishima followed, closing the door behind him. Opening the lights in the living room to lighten up the way, we headed to the stairs and to Tobio's room. Do I have to go inside Kajiyama's room too? He said as I entered my boyfriend's room. You can just sit on his couch near the computer table, I said as I pointed to the couch and headed to Tobio's bed. He sat, looking around the room. I found his phone and earphones attached to it. He probably wanted me to just bring his phone to the hospital. I touched the screen and the wallpaper lit up. It was a photo of us both holding a volleyball. I felt a smile spread on my lips as I savored every detail of the photo. I unlocked the phone using our anniversary as password. On the home screen, there was a memo entitled, "For Shoyo." I sat on the bed, took the headphones on, and pressed play on the voice memo. Tsukishima's point of view. I was sitting there on Kajiyama's bedroom couch. Looking around, you'll never miss that this guy was in love. With volleyball and with Hinata. Everything's just about them both. He's so lucky. My eyes settled on Hinata, who was sitting on the bed with a phone and headphones. The sun was directly on his face. I could see his eyes starting to glisten with tears. He must be listening to something that's making him cry. Hinata, are you alright? He didn't move. Tears were now streaming down his cheeks. I hurried to him and used both of my hands to wipe his tears. He lifted his face to look at me. His eyes were filled with hurt. My heart ached seeing him like this. I pulled him to a hug and removed one of the headphones from his ear. What's wrong? I felt him hug me back tightly. He's saying goodbye. He cried even harder. Then my phone rang. I reached for it using one hand without removing the other from hugging Hinata. It was Suga. I answered the call. Senpai, he's gone. Tsukishima, are you still with Hinata? Don't tell him yet. Just get him back to the hospital as soon as you can. I hung up. Was it Suga senpai? I nodded as I hugged him tighter and rubbed his back. He wants us to come back to the hospital when you're done. I felt him give a nod. I'm going to punch Tobio on the stomach for making this voice record and making me cry this much. He can't leave me this soon. I ruffled his hair and kissed the top of his head. My hand stayed at the back of his head. What are you doing? I tried to think of an excuse. Everything I did just now were out of impulse. The side of me who always longed for Hinata. Just stop crying, shrimp. We need to get back.